Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And today is episode 38, and I have amazing interviews for you today with our OU featured twirler, Sweet Sammi Rizzo, and our drum major, Halle McFarlane. And I don't have a lot to say as far as Sooner headlines of the week go, but there are a few things I want to catch you up on before I pass you on to Dr. Jason Leinen with our injury report. We talk a little bit about John Mateer's injury, just what we know about it, and speculating just a tad on the recovery time. And then I will pass you off to Sweet Sammi and Halle McFarlane. But we had our bye week for football this past weekend, and I think we were all just like, what the heck are we going to talk about? And it was a big joke on Twitter this past week. My friend Travis Davison posted, okay, so Mike Gundy got fired a month into his 21st season, which technically we don't talk about on here, but I would be remiss not to mention it. SEC released our 2026 through 2029 football schedules. Mateer had surgery, and we landed the top two 2027 in-state recruits for football. Holy smokes, what a week for football. Even with a bye week, it has just been insane. I'm not going to talk much about John Mateer's injury on this segment since I do go into that with Dr. Leinen on our injury report here following the headlines of the week. But our sport never sleeps, you guys. We said welcome to the 2027 class to Cooper Hackett and Caden Penny. Cooper Hackett is an offensive line commit, number 11 recruit in the 2027 class. And Penny is from Bixby, and he is the number 24 recruit in the 2027 class. So we are super glad to have them as commits for the 2027 class. Also, our SEC schedules came out for the next several years, not dates or times or anything, but just our opponents, home and away. Of course, our permanent opponents, which I did discuss last week, will be Texas, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Those were announced at least for the next 4 years. Those will be our three permanent opponents. Of course, Texas is played in Dallas. The others will rotate home and away with Missouri and Ole Miss. And I'm sure most of you saw the comments being made on social media by Ole Miss fans. Lane Kiffin even popped in, the head coach of Ole Miss, about how he was confused why Oklahoma was chosen as their permanent opponent when we don't have any history together. We don't really have any beef either. It's just kind of an odd pick, and I don't disagree with him. However, okay, Sooners, let's just step it up. If he wants to be sad that he was chosen to play Oklahoma for the next 4 years, then I say, okay, then you think it's a cake game or whatever you want to think, bring it on. Let's just step it up and get it done, and we'll just make that a good game for us to win. But as I mentioned before, it gives us plenty of opportunities as Sooner to travel to the Grove, check out the Ole Miss campus. My husband and I did go last year when we played. It was incredible. It's a really great experience. Everyone is so kind. It's a really neat stadium, so I highly recommend trying to plan to make a trip to the Grove if that's something that you guys like to do, travel during football season. Make a trip out and check out the Ole Miss campus. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all, and the fan base is super kind. But for 2026, we've got Texas and Dallas, of course. We have Ole Miss coming to Norman, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Texas A&M coming to Norman. So that will be great. And then 2026 away games for next season: Missouri, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi State. So some great teams on the road for the Sooners next fall. Florida and Georgia certainly are not going to be easy, but what great opportunities, what great travel plans for us Sooners to start making for 26. And then, of course, those will flip-flop over between home and away over the next 4 seasons. We do have away games in 2027. We'll have Auburn, LSU, Indy. I think the Sooner fans will take over Nashville at Vandy that year. That will be fun. And then in 2029, we're going to throw Arkansas in there for a nice road game for the Sooners. In Tennessee, head to Knoxville in 2029. So we've got a great slate coming up for the Sooners. You can, of course, view all of that on social media. I also shared it on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod on all socials. And go give that a look and get some plans made to hit the road and support our Sooners over the next few years. We've got some great teams coming in to Norman and some great opportunities for a road trip. Also did want to give a shout out R. Mason Thomas for Defensive Lineman of the Week last week after he only played one half of the game against Auburn. So shout out to R. Mason Thomas playing a vital role in those 10 sacks on Jackson Arnold. And also shout out Grayson Miller, our punter, for special teams. Player of the Week for the SEC as well. Jaden Jackson also gets a shout out for the Outland Trophy National Player of the Week for Week 4 against Burn as well. Men's basketball and women's basketball, the ACC SEC matchups have been announced day and time. Our men will be on the road at Wake Forest on December 2nd, and our women will host NC State on Wednesday, December 3rd. That's a fantastic opportunity to get out and support our girls. I just recently interviewed both Peyton Verhulst and Beatrice Colton, who are super seniors on our women's team, and they are just the most fantastic humans. Cannot wait for you guys to hear their episodes later this fall, but they are very excited for this season with our team. They said we have a lot of great freshmen obviously coming in, just lots of great athletes, and the team is just really gelling together, and they're super excited for the season. So mark your calendars. The season is starting in about a month. Their full schedule for the women have not been released yet, but the men's has been. You can find all of that on their social media as well as on Soonersports.com. But mark your calendars for those ACC matchup, especially as the women host at Lloyd Noble on December 3rd. Great opportunity to get out and show your support to our girls. Our baseball released their fall schedule, and you have 5 opportunities to see them in the Fall World Series at Eldell Mitchell Park, starting on October 18th and through Halloween. There are several opportunities for you to get out and support the guys, get a sneak peek of the spring on the diamonds, as well as our softball girls. The Battle Series starts in Norman later this week. And you have, I believe, 5 or 6 opportunities to see the girls. I believe baseball is free admission, but I'm not sure on that. But softball, I know for a fact, $10 admission, general admission, 6 opportunities to see the girls in Norman. Again, get a sneak peek of the spring lineup. Can't beat that. Our volleyball girls are sitting at a 9-3 record after a home loss to Ole Miss this past weekend, but they are on the road at Vandy this week on October 3rd and at Missouri on the 5th. Their next home match is on Friday the 10th, South Carolina. It's Fan Appreciation Night. It's free admission, so mark your calendars. I'm planning to attend that game if you want to get out and support our volleyball girls. It's a great opportunity to do that. It'll be a great time. If you can't make it that night, understandable. It's the night before OU Texas. A lot of us will be in Dallas, but the tickets to all the other home games are very reasonably priced. I believe they're like $8 a piece. So be sure and check their schedule and find a time to get out and support our girls. Tennis. Rosen Gilhaney and Gloria Nahum are your ITA All-American Championship doubles runner-up. So shout out to them for representing our Sooners well on that stage this past weekend. It is match week also for our tennis cruise. The W50 Rancho Santa Fe is this week in Santa Fe, California, and the W35 San Rafael is also in San Rafael, California later this week as well. So good luck to our Sooners as they represent us at those tournaments. Our track and field cross country crew has an excellent show out at the Cowboy Jamboree this past weekend. The Sooner men took 4th, and that is the highest team finish ever at the Cowboys Jamboree. So shout out to our men's cross country team for that excellent finish. Our rowing team released their fall schedule, and they have a couple of meets coming up at home on Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, November 2nd. So check that schedule on social media. You can get out and support them for free on the riverfront in Oklahoma City. Our men's golf team is sitting number 7 in the poll, heading to the Lone Star State this week for the Ben Hogan Collegiate at the Colonial. All the action has started today at time of recording on Monday the 29th. So be sure and check social media. Again, I'll be posting those results and all of these results on my social media throughout the week on Twitter. And my Instagram, Facebook stories at Sooner Girl Pod is where you can get that up to the minute updates on all of these sports. And our women's golf, Meg Tillman is the SEC Freshman of the Week. She has really been putting on a good show for the Sooners on the collegiate stage. So shout out to Meg for representing well and making your presence known as a freshman. A couple things I did forget to mention about football is we are currently sitting at AP number 5 in the polls after a couple of top key losses this past weekend in week 5. As we sat on the bye, we moved up in the polls. Can't complain about that. So curious to see how things go in the next couple of weeks. I know things will start to get shaken up a bit. as everyone's entering conference play. Also wanted to mention that we have lots of club sports, and I know that I've mentioned these on the show before. We have men's hockey. Women's hockey was supposed to be debuting this fall, but they had some fundraising efforts fall short, so they are aiming for the fall of 26. But we currently have men's hockey. We even have a club soccer team. We have lacrosse, rugby. We even have a club volleyball team, a women's wrestling team. We have so many different club sports that you can get out and support. I try to share as much as that as I can on my social media as I come across it. But you guys get on Instagram, get on Twitter, and start following these club sports and support those guys that are putting in so much work and effort just to have fun. And they're just doing it for themselves. They're not getting any kind of kickback or anything, but it sure is a lot of fun just to support our athletes on whatever level. So again, I try to share what I can on my Instagram stories as I come across it and my Twitter, but get out and support those teams. You can go and find their Instagram accounts, and most of them are really well at updating those and giving their schedules and everything. And I hope that you are able to get out and support our Sooners as your schedule allows. Okay, for my Sooner MVP for the week, I'm going to give it to our freshman golfer, Meg Tilma, for being SEC Freshman of the Week. She did an excellent job in representing the Sooners, and shout out to Meg for that. Looking forward to a great season with her. Our Sooner fun fact of the week: Connor Holt is an OU men's cross country runner who in 1993 became the first Sooner in program history to gain All-American status multiple times. He would add his third All-American award in 1995. I also just realized I forgot to mention our soccer team, and so I did not want to look past that. But our soccer team is doing very well. Also, they are sitting at an 8-3-1 record after a home loss to South Carolina this past weekend, but they are on the road at Bama this week and then home against Texas A&M on Sunday, October 5th. So free admission again for the soccer team. I had Coach Matt Mott and senior forward Hadley Morrell on the show earlier this summer. We talked about the season, and I also want to remind you the Texas match in Norman is on Sunday, October 19th. I'm planning to attend that. I would love to see you there. Mark your calendars. Again, get out and support our soccer team if you get a chance, because it is free admission and you absolutely cannot beat that. I also want to tell you about a couple of things coming up for me the week of OU Texas. Again, we'll put this on the episode next week, but wanted to give you all a heads up. OU Texas week is going to be pretty busy for me and Sooner Girl Sports Pod. Next week's interview on the 8th, that morning, will drop with OU Naval ROTC cadet Mariah Gall. She's in her 4th year of running the game ball in the Run to Dallas event. They run the game ball all the way to the Cotton Bowl from Norman. I sit down and chat with her about that. You will not want to miss that conversation. It's a fantastic interview. And then later that evening, October the 8th, if you're in Southern Oklahoma area, come meet us out on the corner of Highway 70 and 77. They will be arriving in Ardmore sometime between 5:30 and 8:30 p.m. that evening. She is giving me a game ball tracker. I will be tracking it to give a more accurate arrival time, but plan, if you're in the area, bring out water and Gatorade you can hand to the runners, make signs, noise makers, all the things. Come out and invite your friends. Tell anybody you know that's in the area to come out and support our runners as they come through. I will be posting a more accurate arrival time on social media that day at Sooner Girl Pod. Make sure you follow me at Sooner Girl Pod on all the platforms. Again, I will have a game ball tracker. I will be tracking it. I will post updates that day to give a more accurate arrival time, but we are planning it will be sometime between 5:30, 8:30 p.m. that Wednesday, October 8th, which I know is a broad range, but we'll be on the northwest corner of Highway 70 and 77 in Ardmore on the south side of town. So I would love to see you out there if you want to get out and support the runners on running the game ball to Texas. Also, if you're headed down to Dallas on Friday the 10th, you can stop by and visit me and the OU Club of Love County at Exit 15 Marietta at Brody's Valero Station. We will be having the Red River Bash on the way to OU, Texas. There'll be lots of giveaways, lots of booths, lots of stuff going on. So I really hope that you'll stop by and see me there. I will have some giveaways as well. And I would love to see you, love to meet you. So mark your calendars. We will be there from 10 to 3. Personally, will be there from 10 to about 2:30. But the event is from 10 to 3 on Friday the 10th. So I would love to see you in Marietta, exit 15. On your way to stop by and give us a visit. There is free hot dogs, fun and games, vendor midway. There will be merchandise from the Apothem on Campus Corner. Turner's Lodge Pro Golf Museum at Falcon Head Resort will be there. And it is hosted at Brody's Valero Travel Center at exit 15 off of I-35 in Marietta. So I would love to see you there if you can make it. Again, I'll be posting all of this information on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod on all the platforms. So go give me a follow. If you don't already, I'm telling you, the absolute best thing you can do to support me is to follow me. I'm on every single platform. Even if you are on there, but you don't interact much or anything like that, if you could just go give me a follow, share, and invite your friends, it truly does mean more than you know. Also, you can go and purchase some merch at soonergirl.bigcartel.com. And I've got shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, hats, visors, stickers, koozies, you name it. I got it. If I don't have it and you want it, shoot me a message and I'll see if I can get it for you. Also, my newsletter, The Playbook, is coming out this week as well. If you want those delivered to your inbox, you can sign up for free on my Substack. The Locker Room Huddle Girls, we're having a great time. We've had some in-person events. We have our monthly online meetups, having a special guest on soon. You get a discount code for your merch. I have lots of giveaways just for those girls only, and all the inside secrets that you will find out before anybody else, and some things you find out that no one else ever does. As my Locker Room Girls, I call them my secret committee of girls, my board of directors. I appreciate those girls so much for their support, and I'm very thankful that I've been able to meet in person or at least see them online. If you want to be a part of that, it's $5 a month. Again, you can do that on my Substack. I had advertising opportunities, sponsorships available. You can email me at SoonerGirlSportsPod@gmail.com or message me on any social media platform at SoonerGirlPod, and I'll be happy to direct you to any of this information. Or you can check it out on my Linktree, which is my link in bio on all of my social media. It's Linktree/SoonerGirlSportsPod. So everything is linked there. Everything I just talked about, following me, all the podcast apps, all the things. Please go like, follow, subscribe, share with a friend, download, listen on multiple platforms, leave a review, all the things. I truly appreciate you guys more than you know. I could not do it without you. So thank you again for listening. I hope to see you somewhere along the way for OU, Texas, or in Norman. If you're ever at a football game, just give me a holler. I would love to see you. I'm in section 48. I'm there every home game. You can't miss me. So if you would like to come by and say hello, just give me a holler. So I hope everyone has a great week. Here's to a great football game against Kent State this coming Saturday. We are at home at 3 p.m. I would love to see you there. So Boomer Sooner, everybody. I'll see you next Wednesday where we talk sports, and enjoy these interviews for our injury segment with Dr. Jason Leinen and our twirler Sammi and drum major Halle. I will see you next week.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the game and see how Hawkins looks. And
me too. I am too. I'm not super worried, especially for this game. But he won on the road at Auburn last year, so, and I feel like he's much better prepared and has much better support around him this year than he did last year. So, you know, God forbid he has to play with Texas, which, I mean, I think everybody will like, but I mean, well, for one,
but he might be, he might be great. Yeah, I mean, I think with a better offensive, game plan coordinator and some actual receivers that we really didn't have much of last year.
Exactly.
That might help quite a bit.
Yeah. And I know everybody's been talking about trying to get the run game going, which obviously would be beneficial for a lot of reasons, especially given our quarterback situation. So I guess we'll see what happens on Saturday. But I don't think they're going to let a lot of cats out of the bag on Saturday for sure.
Yeah, probably be pretty vanilla.
Yeah, they're going to keep them bagged up for the next weekend, especially just in case, because I bet we don't know anything on Mateer's status until probably pretty last minute.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we don't know any specifics on his injury, which is, I guess, intentional to some degree.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
yeah, it's crazy though. I do remember this happening. I want to say it was back in 2021, maybe. Jared Goff had a quote similar surgery, according
Right.
to sources, and he literally played a playoff game 12 days later.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
seems
Pretty crazy.
crazy. It seems crazy, but I remember it happening. I remember him getting hurt and thinking, oh my gosh, you feel bad for a player, especially then in that
Yeah.
situation that's won and played the whole season and then get hurt right before playoffs. But he played, and again, every body is different, every hand is different. So
Yeah. For
but
sure.
it's comforting. It's promising, I guess, to think that we could get Mateer back sooner rather than later. So,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, I mean, looked up a little bit on the Jared Goff injury just because, yeah, I heard the same
Yes.
thing. It was a similar injury.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was really a sort of a dislocation of the,
Uh huh.
kind of that last joint of your thumb,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which, and I guess he was seen popping it back in place on the sideline, Jared Goff
Yeah.
at least at the time, and we didn't really see anything like that from Mateer. So, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the exact same or, maybe he
Right.
didn't dislocate but had the same bone
Right.
broken. They, speculation as a sports doc and injuries that are quote common for thumbs and hands and whatnot run through my brain. And my first thought was that it was maybe a broken bone. They call it thumb, but the first bone I thought of was really kind of at the base of the thumb, technically in the wrist.
That's kind of what I
You
was
have a
wondering.
bone kind of in here called your scaphoid bone,
Okay.
and it's kind of a notorious bone that doesn't like to heal on its own. And so if
Okay.
if it's broken in the wrong spot, then it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have great blood supply, and so it doesn't like to heal.
Oh, wow.
And so
Okay.
oftentimes they will fix it by putting just a
Mm-hmm.
single tiny little screw into that
Uh-huh.
bone. I tried to find a couple of anatomy book pictures here to show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if, again, I think they would have said wrist
Yeah.
if that's what it was. So that
Yeah.
kind of leads me away from thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that would be something. I mean, he obviously played the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So part of me wonders if maybe it was that bone and they're just calling it thumb. But if it is thumb, this is maybe a little hard. I don't know if you can kind of see what
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got going on here. So these are like the bones of the hand, and you kind of got these little, the kind of the base of the thumb can be broken at different areas
Right.
with different severity of, sort of what needs to be repaired.
Right. Makes
Or do you
sense.
just put it in a cast, or do you just, assuming these days, one reason they kind of went for surgery is because you stabilize it quicker, you get back quicker.
Right.
Whereas if you put it in a cast, you're looking at probably at least 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks
Uh-huh.
to get a bone to quote heal on its
Mm-hmm.
own. And so yeah, I mean that makes me think. Okay, I mean the Jared Goff injury again was at this last joint of your thumb called your
Right.
interphalangeal joint, but I don't know. Again, was Mateer, was it at this joint of the thumb or was it at the base of the
Right.
thumb?
We don't
And
know.
so we don't know. So it's kind of generalizing a little bit. But and then the other thing that they said broken bone, I guess, but I know one of the things that this Dr. Shin has sort of revolutionized was a new way to treat ligament injuries in the hand and wrist. And so
Okay.
by putting in this synthetic stabilizing ligament, I guess it makes it a lot stronger, a lot faster.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so I don't know
Okay.
if that was part of the surgery
Right.
or if they just put a pin in it or if they had to do this tendon stabilization kind of procedure,
Right.
ligament stabilization. Again, a lot of speculation.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like the main key is he had an injury and thankfully something that could be repaired and could be
Easily, yeah.
repaired quickly. And I mean, I guess the main thing you worry about for a quarterback is that it's a throwing hand,
I
and
know.
if he's cleared to play, does he have full grip on the ball? Does
Right.
that does that
Right.
thumb swell up? I mean, I saw an article and some pictures on that Jared Goff injury where yes, he
Mm-hmm.
came back and played 12 days later, but at halftime his thumb was noticeably swollen on
Oh,
that
geez.
hand.
Okay. Yeah.
And he kind of admittedly was maybe having to struggle holding the ball like normal. So
Yeah.
again, you kind of think, okay, could he come back? Yes.
Yeah.
Could he maybe potentially struggle? You don't know.
Well, true. Well, and given Jared Goff's situation, like I said, with it being a playoff game, he was probably like, I will do this. Let's just
Right,
try to win.
exactly.
I don't remember who his backup was. I think they won that game. I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have gone back and looked. But, I mean, who knows how that even, I mean, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. I know that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure just given the situation of this timing of the season, like, hey, I'm just going to do this. Whereas
Yeah.
Mateer, I mean, luckily has a bye week and a cake game, so to speak. And then, like I said, God forbid OU Texas. But did you see? I'm sure you did
Yeah.
see like the picture of him when the injury happened. How
Yes,
his
I
hand
did,
was
where he
kind of
actually
folded.
kind of
Yeah,
struck that hand or arm, I guess,
yeah.
of the
And
defender.
it looked kind of like it was jammed, or
Yeah, kind of
something.
just
So
crunched and jammed. Yeah.
yeah, so it would make sense. And even watching the video, how fast, obviously, that it happened, I was just like, oh my gosh. And of course, everybody's been talking about this for a whole week, and
Right.
nobody really
Yeah.
knows
Nobody
anything.
really knows. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all just speculating. But they were just saying, depending on, I guess there's different types of hardware, like you were saying, like if it was a ligament situation or it
Hmm.
was a bone, depending on which one, that also determines the timing of the
Right.
healing. So we just don't freaking know anything. But Gabe and Teddy were saying worst case scenario, they think he'll be back for Ole Miss, which is our home game at the end of October. So that would be 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Four
I
weeks is
think
kind of what
that's
I heard.
absolutely worst case scenario. I mean, it sure would be nice to have him on the road at South Carolina for sure, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Who knows? And
Who knows?
thankfully, South Carolina. I mean, they're still an SEC
Yeah,
team. They're
I
still going to be
mean,
tough, but
they're
maybe
not.
not quite as good as we maybe thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year.
For sure not. I just
It's
hate it.
crazy. SEC
It
right now.
is.
Just, I mean, it's anybody's game, I think.
It really is. I told Eric that the other night after Bama won. And I was just like, I didn't expect that after having seen them a little bit of Bama playing in the previous weeks. I just thought, I don't know if they've got it. And then they come and pull out that win. And it was like heart attack central.
Yeah,
Of
for
course, that
real.
was happening at the same time as Penn State and Oregon, which was another heart attack.
Oh, I was
But
flipping back and forth the channels
we were
frantically because
too.
it's
We
like,
were
wait,
too.
they're going for fourth down here. Oh no, wait,
It.
no,
I
they're
know.
going for if they don't make this, the game's over. Oh,
It
they
was
got it. Okay,
crazy.
wait, what's the other game doing?
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. So I didn't expect that from Bama. So yeah, I feel like everybody's all over the place now. I don't know who Texas plays this week. Probably should, but I don't.
Good
Do they have a
question.
bye?
I think no, but I think they play I want to say maybe Kentucky or someone a
Okay.
lower tier
Okay. Okay.
SEC team, if I'm right. Something
Well,
sounds familiar about that.
their schedule, which we've heard this 1,000 times, their schedule is
Oh no, they
compared to
play Florida. They
OU's.
play
Oh, they
Florida.
play
That's
Florida.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, okay.
So
There's
maybe I mean that might be a little bit of a battle.
it could
Florida's
be.
looked good at times, and they looked
Yeah,
not good at times.
exactly. Nobody's consistent, I don't think. And so I'm real
Yeah,
curious to see how Texas will look. And even, we get a next level Texas team in Dallas for sure. So there's no
for
question
sure.
there.
Yeah,
But we've got a bunch of ranked teams on the rest
yeah.
of our schedule.
It's going to be
And
tough.
it's just crazy. And Texas, they don't have the caliber of teams that we do. So I certainly do not want to come out of Dallas with a loss, especially given the situation. And I
Yeah,
hate it for Mateer because I thought about him with his Heisman situation, which I know is probably the last thing on his mind personally. But
yeah,
him missing Kent State game is not going to affect his Heisman race. But if he misses Texas, I definitely think it will impact the Heisman race. Now, there's a million things in factor with that, depending on how everybody else does and how their seasons pan out and all that. You never know. But I think if he misses Texas, it could impact that. And again,
yeah, for sure.
I think his vision is a more broad team related vision other than just focused on himself. But still, we can't help but think about it when he's sitting at the top of the Heisman race and then something like
Yeah,
this happens.
that's tough for sure.
Yeah, it makes me sick. And again, I know back and forth with Texas and Arch and all that, but I mean,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
knows? Who knows what kind of version we're going to get of that, or what
yeah.
he's
We'll
even got in
see.
him the rest of the season. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
hoping, I'm hoping to maybe get an update on him, maybe after the weekend. But I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean,
I
yeah,
think
you don't know what they'll say. They may want to try to keep it close to the vest. And if he comes back, they might release it. They might list him as questionable on that Wednesday injury report next week.
That's what I'm thinking.
And so that way nobody will know.
I bet we do not know anything until the day before.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But as long as he's healing properly and doing all the things, that's all I care about.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, if you got to miss a couple of games, I mean,
in the long term,
if you end up, you can't make Texas game and for some reason that goes south. I mean, you don't want to lose that game, but it's not the worst in the grand scheme of.
No, for sure not.
The conference or trying to get to the playoff or whatever. But again, you obviously want to have all your guys healthy as much as possible. But that's tough in a season for any team to go through completely unscathed. I mean, it seems like every season someone key or critical is going to be out for a game or two, and that's just the way it is. So,
and I just don't know how much longer some of these undefeated teams are going to last because it's starting to get hot and heavy. In the conference season, and
it's gonna everyone's kind of getting into the meat of the conference season.
Here we go. Once we get through the end of October, we'll be able to tell more for sure. I saw some memes going around, which I'm sure it was just that, a meme, a joke. But somebody had made like buttons with a thumb on it, like a thumbs up, and it was obviously John Mateer's thumb, and it had a screw like right here, like you could see, like it was an X-ray, like an X-ray with like a screw right here, and him giving the thumbs up, and I was like, I don't think that's what happened.
That's funny.
But it was funny. But fingers crossed we'll maybe get some more information, and who knows what the weekend holds. Hopefully it's a quiet weekend. We shouldn't have much going on at all.
I would hope so.
With Kent State, we probably will see a lot of starters.
We better put that thing to bed by about halftime.
Absolutely.
At the latest.
I don't even know who. I mean, I'm sure Michael Hawkins will play the whole game, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, unless we just get way ahead, I'm sure they'll want him out there for some good reps.
I mean, I hate to risk him getting hurt, but I think he needs the time on the field. So.
But he probably won't be running around too much, I wouldn't think.
No, imagine not. We got to protect him because I don't know who's third on the depth chart for quarterback. I know we have Jet New. He's a freshman though, I think, and like Neubauer, I think. But again,
I have heard that name, but I don't know what they would do.
I don't want to think about it.
I don't know.
Fingers crossed we don't have to worry about that.
We might just throw Kanik out there. He seems to be able to do anything.
I know, right? I mean,
he's tearing it up.
Let the kid do his thing. He's living his best life out there, and he's getting the job done. So I'm not going to complain.
For real.
I hope you all enjoyed that segment with Dr. Jason Leinen for our injury segment of the week. And I am very hopeful that John Mateer heals quickly and safely and is back to normal soon. Not just because we want to see him back on the field, but just for his overall health and well-being for himself. So best wishes to John Mateer as he heals. And also, I don't know that I said this in the segment with Dr. Leinen, but I'm giving my full support to Michael Hawkins as he leads our Sooners this coming weekend for the Kent State game, and then going forward, however long he is needed. I commend him. I think very highly of Michael Hawkins. I have full faith in him. I think he has a full arsenal of support on the coaching staff and on the field around him, much better weapons to help him as opposed to last year. But I have full faith in him. He has proven his worth. He has proven his loyalty to Sooners, and I could not think more highly of him. So shout out to Michael Hawkins. We wish you nothing but the best, and Sooner fans, you better be behind him because I have all the faith in the world in him. So best of wishes to Michael Hawkins as he leads our team going forward as long as he is needed. Okay, a quick introduction to our sweet Sammi Rizzo. Sammi is the featured twirler for the Pride of Oklahoma. She has been twirling for 13 years, competing from the state level to the international level. This past summer, she had the honor to represent both OU and Oklahoma and the United States on the world stage at the IBTF's Nations Cup, where she earned the gold medal. It was truly an honor to represent such an amazing school and state. Earning the position as the featured twirler and coming to school at OU has given her an everlasting love for the Sooners. Her favorite Sooner memories are being able to perform at all the different sporting events and community events. You can find Sammi on social media on her Instagram at SamanthaRose.15. She also has a second Instagram account at OU_feature twirler24. She's also on TikTok and Facebook, and she has a website, SamanthaRoseRizzo.com. I will link all of this into the show notes, of course. So I hope you guys enjoy my chat with sweet Samantha Rizzo. Oh, absolutely. I really appreciate it. I know that you are a busy girl. You have literally been all over the place this summer.
This summer was crazy.
Where all did you go?
I started out this summer. I went to Tennessee to teach at the University of Tennessee major at camp. I was there for about a week, and then I went to State College, Pennsylvania for a week of training with my coach. Mm-hmm. And then the following week, I was in Indiana competing at the MBTA Nationals.
Okay.
At Notre Dame, and then I was home for 2 days to unpack, repack, and fly out to Italy.
And you were there for quite some time, right?
14 days.
Okay. Oh my gosh, girl. That's incredible. Well, I want to rewind first and kind of start from the beginning of your journey on how you started twirling in the first place, because obviously there's not a ton of twirlers. There's usually only one at each school, maybe sometimes two. So it's a big job for you to have. So first of all, I think it's super cool, and people always remember twirlers at the University of Oklahoma. And I think I mentioned to you that I had spoken with Kelly Masters.
Yes.
Early in the summer, and she was the twirler when I was growing up. And I have always remembered her and her twin. And so again, it's a prestigious honor for you to have. So congratulations. Let's rewind and start. How old were you when you started twirling, and just kind of what got you where you are today?
I started twirling when I was 4 at a local rec program. They had one of those bring a friend days to our rec program, and my sister's friend was a twirler there, and she invited my sister, and Mom was like, well, if we're gonna sign up you, we'll sign up Sam too. And so from there I went on to go watch. They took us to go compete at a local state competition, and I stuck around to watch the individuals after the team won. And I kind of just was like, I want to do that. I need to do that. And so my coach gave me a solo, and I competed, and I said to her, I want to keep going with this. I want to do more. She said, well, I gave you all I can give you. So let's get you moving on to competition team. So she put me on to the local competition team in New York. It was only a 30-minute drive from our house. And I was there for a few years, and my mom and I, we grew out of that team fairly quickly, and we joined a team in Maryland. Oh, wow. And we were there every Saturday. It was a 5-hour drive each way. And wow. Yeah, it was every weekend. And after COVID hit, my mom, she couldn't travel outside of contiguous states just because of her job. And she's like, either you have to give it up or something, we have to find a new team. And so she became friends with a coach in State College, Pennsylvania. And that was a 4-hour drive, but we only went once a month. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's awesome.
My current coach is Matt and Meredith, and they're the best people ever.
I love that for you. Well, sometimes things happen that force us to make changes, obviously, that work out for the best. So that's a good example of that. So how in the world did you end up at Oklahoma from way up there?
Wasn't really sure where I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to twirl. I knew I wanted to twirl in college. I knew I wanted to be at a big school. And I knew I wanted to be somewhere warm.
Oh, well, I don't blame you.
Those were the 3 things that I knew I wanted. And I was just touring a bunch of schools, and I really didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. And there was one school I toured at that I was friends with one of the twirlers. I was asking her mom, her advice, because her daughter was fairly similar to me. And she said, go look at OU. Their position is finally opening up after, I think, 7 years.
Yes, yes.
She said, I feel like you'd be a great fit there, and I think you'd love it. So I did a lot of research on the program, and I just, even after Googling it, I was like, I love it here.
Oh, how
And then
cool. Wow.
I just did the audition process. They brought me in, and I fell in love with the school. I fell in love with the people,
That's
and
awesome.
I just, no matter what, I was coming to OU.
Wow. Well, that's a good story. Well, first of all, when you were talking, it made me think about you wanted to come somewhere warm. And sometimes I think it's a little too warm in Oklahoma, but it could be worse, I suppose. So I'm glad you ended up here because, as you mentioned, our previous twirler ended up getting extended eligibility due to COVID and all the things. And so, yeah, it had been a while since we had a new twirler. So the timing worked out great for you. So, okay,
Yeah.
so you said that, your favorite thing about being a Sooner is performing on the field and different community events and sporting events and things like that. So what all community events does that entail for you outside of football, I guess I should
Really? Really, anything the Pride kind of throws at me, or anytime anyone really reaches out to me and was like, "Hey, we'd like to have you," I'll really take any performance opportunity.
Yeah.
I love twirling for the community, and I love twirling for the school. So anything
That's
really.
awesome. So, one thing that came to mind when I was looking at your photos that you sent, which I'll put some of those up on the screen and then post on social media during the week of the podcast. But I mean, obviously, you can do the splits and all sorts of things and flips. Did you have gymnastics training as well of some sort?
I didn't have any gymnastics training. When I was little, I took ballet and lyrical. I took like a little bit of acro, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was maybe 2 classes.
Yeah.
I kind of just learned everything from my coaches and
Yeah.
my mentors. Like my walkovers, I had one of the girls on my team. He kind of just held my back and was like, "Go for it."
Oh my
And
goodness.
that's how I learned how to do walkover.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, hey, you got to do what it takes sometimes, I guess. Okay. So,
Yeah.
one of the pictures you sent me was of you twirling flaming batons. And I know that that's something that a lot of people recognize and that sticks out when they think of twirlers. And to me, that sounds pretty dangerous. So, were you scared? Like, how old were you the first time that you twirled with flaming batons? And, like, how did that make you feel? Like, were you scared or, like, did it take a lot of practice? Or how do you kind of lead up to doing something like that?
I actually twirled fire for the first time, I think, 3 years ago. So I was 15, and I only started twirling it for my college application.
Oh, wow.
We were in a Bellefonte, Pennsylvania parade, and my coach was just kind of handing them out, and I was walking, and he just threw it at me and said, "You're performing now." And I said, "Oh my goodness, this is so scary." He goes, "No, people are watching. Just twirl. Do what you can. You won't get hurt." And I was like, "Okay." And I just went for it, and I was walking down the streets of Bellefonte twirling fire.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was not the answer I expected. I think about the girl on Miss Congeniality, which that movie is probably older than you are. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a girl on the movie who they basically do the same thing where they're like, "Here, you're going to go twirl fire," and she's like, "Okay," and then she goes and does it. So that's literally what happened to you. Oh my goodness. Okay, where were you at in this picture you sent me where you were twirling fire? Is that in Lloyd Noble?
They were in Lloyd Noble. I was twirling for the men's basketball game against Kentucky.
Oh, okay. That's exciting. A little different crowd, a little different atmosphere, obviously, twirling in Lloyd Noble as opposed to the football stadium for sure. So, what's your favorite thing about football game days? I mean, I know your morning starts really early. You guys get started like 6 hours before game time because you have so much going on.
Yeah.
So, is your schedule pretty similar to the band?
Yes, it is. I think the only difference is for 11 a.m. kicks, I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to get my hair and my makeup done.
Oh my goodness.
I was up super early.
That is really early.
I think my getting ready.
That was one thing I talked to Chauvin about was, okay, 11 a.m. kick and the band has to report by 5 a.m. Well, they have to get up and get ready ahead of time. And for you, getting ready entails a lot more things because your makeup and hair is a big part of your outfit, whereas the band members have hats at least and, a uniform and everything, but you've got a lot going on there. So what's your favorite time of day to perform in the Palace? Does it make a difference to you? I mean, I know other than maybe you get to sleep in a little bit later with the later kickoff, but do you feel a different vibe or anything like that, like depending on the kickoff time?
I think the later the kickoff, the better, because the fans are just, they're more awake, they're more hype, they're more hype, and it's just, I noticed a huge difference in the volume of the stadium throughout the season, like depending on what time the start was.
That makes sense. I like evening kicks because I like the light shows and all the things. So I feel like that plays into a factor. First of all, people are more awake and they've been celebrating all day, you know, preparing for kickoff. But I love those evening kicks with all the light shows and everything. And watching the band, it's one of my favorite things. So last year we had quite a few night games, which is good, and it looks like we're going to have a few this year as well. So what's one of your favorite places last year that you went to, that you traveled to, as far as game wise goes?
Game wise, I really only went to the bowl game in OU Texas.
Oh, okay.
And I definitely say OU Texas was amazing just because they also had a twirler in Texas. So I got to meet her and I got to make friends with her.
Oh,
cool. And that's really what college twirling is about, is getting to meet other college twirlers and making new friends and connections. And I thought that was amazing because she was just a sweetheart.
That's really cool to hear. Well, like I said, there's not very many of you guys. There's not like a whole team of you. So it's just one other person that you're getting to have that camaraderie with. So that's really neat. So OU Texas, that's a whole other beast, isn't it? So that was probably, you know, last year being your first time to experience anything like that in that stadium.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It used to be an 11 a.m. kickoff for many years, and then last year being the first 2:30 kickoff in quite some time, and this year it's the same. So I'm sure that's hot for you guys. And so with the split of the stadium, it brings a whole new atmosphere that most stadiums don't have and that most people don't experience unless they go to something like that. So tell me a little bit about the volume in that stadium being down on the field, because I'm sure that it's different than most other stadiums.
So we start our pregame on the Texas side of the stadium. So it was kind of a crazy switch up. I'm standing there with Halle and I'm looking at her. I'm like, oh my goodness, is pregame going to be like this the whole time? Because we were just getting booed like no other. And then I run out to the center and I do my leap, and the switch up was insane. It was just like we went from being booed to cheered, and I was like this is where I belong. I'm on this side now.
Yes. I have sat on the 50-yard line back when I went to OU, and it's pretty brutal down there. And like I said, not only just the heat and the temperature, depending on what the weather's like, but the crowd is nuts. So it's definitely a different beast. So I cannot imagine being on that field and looking up and seeing the split crowd. And like you said, starting at one end and ending on the correct end is definitely the way to go, I guess, because you definitely saw that change in momentum. Well, hopefully this year it will be a better experience for you overall, and that we will get a win. I was there a couple of years ago. I've been quite a bit over the years, and a couple of years ago I was there when we won. But the year before that I was there when we got shut out. So I've been there through a lot of ups and downs, and I'll tell you, I'm ready for another win. So hopefully we get one for you guys this year for sure. So do you not travel just in general? Like, you usually don't travel to the away games?
I do have the opportunity to. There aren't many performance opportunities for me. So
that makes sense.
I think in a way to both save the band some money and be able to focus on my studies, I don't really go to them.
That makes sense. Because you guys don't do a halftime show or anything, so that makes sense. Okay, so what's your major? Do you know what your major is going to be?
I'm an accounting major.
Wow. Okay, so you do have a lot of stuff to keep up with. Chauvin told me that only 20% of the band members are actual music majors, and then the next largest group are engineering majors. And that surprised me because I know that you guys have a big time commitment with your rehearsals and all of the things. So I commend you for having such a demanding major and doing all that you do, because it's a lot. So good luck to you.
you.
So for basketball season, you generally just perform for a couple of games or whenever they ask you to?
Yes, I'm hoping to be able to perform at a few more this year.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. Okay. Is there anything specifically this season that you're looking forward to? I mean, I know it's just getting started and we don't even know everything on the horizon, but hopefully, obviously we'll go to another bowl game. So that's obviously exciting because you'll get to travel and perform. So, is there anything else that you're maybe looking forward to this season just in general that you can think of?
I'm just looking forward to being able to support the Sooners again and perform and really just be there.
Yeah. Well, Sooner Nation loves football. I'm sure you can tell. And so we've all been counting down till football season for a very long time. And I love all the things that encompass the game day experience. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the field. I have enjoyed watching you on social media and just following your journeys this summer. Let's talk about that real quick. I do want to talk about you were in Italy for 2 weeks and that you won a gold medal. So I don't want to get off here without talk a little bit about that.
So we did a little bit of traveling the first week, and then the second week I competed in Turin, Italy at the IBTF Nations Cup. And I competed against, I believe, 23 or 24 different countries.
Oh, wow.
And I think I had 40 girls in my division.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And which to me it wasn't as nerve-wracking because at nationals I have a little bit over 100 girls in my division. So yes, it was a little bit less, so it was a little less nerve-wracking for me.
That makes sense.
But it was really an amazing experience.
Well, that is really awesome. Now that you're talking and I was thinking about some pictures I'd seen over the last month or so, I remember you posting a picture with the twirler from OSU, a little bedlam.
Yes.
That's really cool. So my husband actually graduated from OSU, and so we're a house divided. You know, we call it Bedlam in Oklahoma. So when you posted that picture, I was like, look, that one made my day. So that was really cool that you got to meet her.
Yes, I've met them, both of them, a few times, and they're both just the sweetest girls, and I think it's so nice to be able to have such a nice relationship with them.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
I think we nailed it all. Well, I appreciate you so much, Sammi, for taking the time for me. Okay, for the last segment of this week's awesome episode, I have for you my interview with Halle McFarlane, our drum major for the Pride of Oklahoma. And she is a fifth-year honors college student at OU, majoring in electrical engineering with a minor in music. She began her journey with the Pride as the front ensemble member, later becoming a cymbal player and eventually a cymbal captain on the OU drumline before being selected as the 70th drum major of the Pride of Oklahoma. Now in her second year of leading the band, she is proud to serve as the program's first SEC drum major, only the fourth female drum major in all of Pride history, and she continues to uphold its legacy of excellence and tradition. Beyond the Pride, she was selected as a member of OU's prestigious Top 10 Senior Honor Society, the PEET, which is an active brother of Kappa Kappa Psi, and she has worked as both a campus tour guide and a staff member at the university's fabrication lab. Halle is Sooner born, Sooner bred. She grew up coming to OU games. She's actually a third generation Sooner. Her grandpa played football at OU, and both of her parents graduated from OU's physical therapy program. So she was truly raised a true Sooner born and bred. She has been coming to games with her family as long as she can remember, and OU has just always felt like home to her. Her favorite Sooner memory is her first pre-game as a drum major. She can recount every detail, and sweet Halle has a lot of stories to share about a lot of the behind the scenes things that she does that a lot of people don't think or know about. Lots of unique gigs that she's done, and just how she's prepared for the role both physically and mentally. I really enjoyed our conversation. We could have talked for a very long time. So I hope that you will enjoy this conversation with sweet Halle McFarlane. You can find her on Instagram and LinkedIn. She is at Halle_K. with an E. I will link that again in the show notes and on social media going forward throughout the week. I also did want to mention I had the honor and privilege of meeting both Sammi and Halle in person when I was doing behind the scenes on the sidelines with the band during the Auburn game just a couple of weeks ago. They are the sweetest human beings, truly kind girls. Could not ask for anyone better to lead our program. So I, again, shout out to them for giving me part of their time. And I hope you enjoy this interview with sweet Halle McFarlane. Thank you for taking the time for me, and I'm so excited to talk to you because I grew up an OU fan like you did, and going to the games and everything, and watching the band has always been one of my favorite things to do, and of course watching the drum major and the twirler. So to think that I'm getting to talk to you guys is a super cool moment for even me. I graduated from OU in 2003. I've been out for a moment, but I grew up being a Sooner, and so it's all I've known and loved my whole life. But I'm so excited to hear your band journey, like how you got involved playing an instrument, and then just how you got to where you are today. So just wherever you want to start.
Of course. I mean, if we want to go way back, I started playing piano when I was little. I think it was first grade, maybe even kindergarten, when my parents put me in piano. And that's where my official music journey begins.
Awesome.
I played piano for 13 years, so it's always been a joy. But when I hit sixth grade, you had the option to join band. And I remember doing the instrument test that most kids have to do in sixth grade, where you try all the instruments. And I got to do a coordination test, like a hand and eye and foot coordination test for the percussion class. And I guess I scored high enough on the coordination test, and I made it into the percussion class. And I remember just trying, like, do I want to do this or not? Like, I remember sixth grade me, this was a big decision. Like, this was the first time you get to pick your classes, you know? And so I was worried, like, sixth grade me, I was just like, I don't know, like, is this really, this is a lot of time. Like, do I think I can do this? And I'm so happy sixth grade me said, I'll try it for 1 year.
Okay. Well, it changed your whole life, obviously. I mean, you would be a totally different person now if you hadn't made that decision.
Totally. I fell in love with it. There were days where I'd get frustrated and cry over something we called diddles. I was not good at those. But I fell in love with it, and I did band all through middle school, and then high school we got to do marching band.
Yes.
And so I went to Deer Creek High School. It's also, I went to Deer Creek Intermediate and Deer Creek Middle, and then Deer Creek High School. So, and through that program, I joined the front ensemble because I didn't like drumming, but I loved playing the marimba. That was my favorite instrument because it was really similar to the piano. I liked it a lot. And so got into the front ensemble, and I was like, I'm going to make this the coolest, most fun section in the entire band.
Yes.
We had so much fun. It was great. But I did front ensemble for like 3 years, freshman, sophomore, junior. And then I'm trying to think what year it was, 17. Freshman year, I got to go to band day. Which it's a program where we get to invite a ton of high schoolers to spend a day with the Pride. And it just happened to be a morning game. And so I begged my parents to drive me to Norman, Oklahoma at 5 a.m. for rehearsal. And I got to play. Yeah, I bless my parents for letting me do that because it was one of the coolest days. It was so fun. So I got to play with the front ensemble, and what was really cool, we played I Need a Hero, and I'll never forget it. It was so fun, and it was cool because we still play a chunk of that show as a part of our warm-up in Pride today in 2020. It's Batman by Danny Elfman, the theme. That's part of our warm-up sequence, and that was part of the show in 2017 when I got to be on the field. So it's like kind of full circle.
Full circle, absolutely.
But there was one person I kind of got to see, but I didn't really get to meet because the day was crazy, was Julie Seiberts. She was the first female drum major. And she was so cool, and I fell in love with like just her passion for band and the program, and I was like, she's so cool.
I recognize her name. I remember her.
Yes. No, she's the best.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, Mom and Dad, I want to go to OU Texas really badly. Like
big time.
And so I got to go to my first OU Texas game, and I actually somehow, I don't know how it happened, ran into Julie Seiberts while I was there.
How neat.
And so, and we got to talk, and I told her just about how much I love band, and I think she's the coolest person ever. And she was like, you should go for drum major. You should do it. I think you should. And I've had this picture as my screensaver for ages, but it's me and her.
I love it.
So it's been like, it's just so cool how full circle it's come. But she encouraged me. Senior year of high school, I went for it. I said, I'm going to be drum major. And so I auditioned in 2019, and we all know what happened in 2019.
Yes.
And so it was a challenge, but honestly, it taught me so much that the role isn't just about conducting the band.
So true.
Over half of my role during that period of unknown was just planning fun stuff to keep everybody engaged at home. Hey, everybody, send a picture of your pets this week.
Oh my
Send
goodness.
a video of you practicing playing your favorite song right now. Just to like keep people engaged and still playing their instrument and like keeping the community going, you know, when we really didn't know what marching band was going to look like. And so that was a big part of, I guess, developing me as a leader, learning that there's more to the position than just conducting the band and being up in front of the band and having a good, you know, pattern. Over half of it is meeting everybody in the band, getting to know them, being a person that they can go to when they're worried or scared, or especially during that time. So
yeah, just being a leader.
Yeah. So, and that was my first drum major experience. We didn't really go to any competitions because, you know, COVID, but it developed me a lot. And then I got accepted into OU. So, and I auditioned and made it into the Pride as a front ensemble member. So
that's awesome.
It was super cool.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. So I spent about a year in the front ensemble my first year, and I loved it. It was so fun. I got to go to OU Texas. I got to go to the Alamo Bowl.
Yes.
And then I got like extreme, I don't know how else to call it, but FOMO, because I wanted to make the OU on the field so badly.
Yes. That's
and so I was like, I want to be a part of that OU. And so I had one of my good friends teach me cymbals so I could march on the cymbal line. And so I practiced and practiced, and I auditioned, and I made it on the cymbal line.
That's awesome.
So that was awesome. So I did a year on cymbals. I learned how to march. I knew a little from high school, but I learned a lot of it here at OU. And then I loved cymbals so much, I just went out for cymbal captain. I was like, I might not be the best at cymbals, but I think that, you know, sometimes as a leader, even if you're not the best, you can recognize people's strengths and have, you know, a team where somebody, I know you're great at cymbals. Can you lead warm-ups today? Or, hey, if you notice we're working on this wrong, can you give me some advice on how to rehearse this? So it was a really great experience for me. And then it also got me involved in the leadership team in the Pride. We've got a huge leadership team of usually around 70 to 90 people. And so it was really cool getting involved on that team, like everything that we do. And that really kind of opened my eyes to what the team does, so that when I was able to audition for drum major, you're going to see how that leadership team ran. And then, the rest is history.
Wow. Well, like you said, COVID was an unfortunate event for a lot of reasons, but a lot of good came from it. And I think it's important to recognize that. And so, like you said, that was one of those times that helped develop you into the person that you are, into the leader that you are. And I like what you said about how being a leader doesn't always mean, or hardly ever means, that you're the best at whatever you're doing. You just have the ability to recognize that there are people who are quote, better at the task and learn from them and allow them to teach everyone else as well and see everybody's strengths. And that's a really cool thing for you to say that, because it's hard sometimes as just a human, because we want to be the best at whatever, and to say, okay, that person might be better than us and I'm supposed to be their leader. How can I capitalize on that? So I'm glad you pointed that out. So life lessons with Halle.
Yes. I have learned so many life lessons from the Pride. So,
well, and that is one good thing that I love hearing from athletes and coaches and people in general, just what those type activities teach you: teamwork and how to be a leader and how to be a team player and all the things that we don't always think about. It's not just about being the best cymbal player or the best kicker on the football team or whatever. There's so much else that it entails. So it is always important to remember that as well. So you were talking about being a leader and all that entails, and just being a drum major in general entails so much more than just, hey, here I am on Saturday on the field leading the band out. And so you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't see. Like, so you mentioned helping with the audition process, and I know Chauvin mentioned the other day about that's a pretty quick turnaround. I mean, like, people have several months to send in their auditions, but it's just like a couple of week time frame from the deadline to when the band is set. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. There is so much that goes into the audition, and then there was even more that went into the role once I got it.
Yeah.
Audition wise, this is going to sound crazy, but I actually auditioned freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So it definitely, don't give up on stuff if you believe in it. Don't give up on yourself.
Absolutely.
Because just because you got to know the first time doesn't mean that, you should just give up. So,
that is so true.
Because freshman year, I was in front ensemble and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. So, sent in a video of me conducting and somehow made it to the live rounds, I guess.
Awesome.
So, and I didn't expect to make it any further than that, just because I was like, I'm a freshman, nobody knows me, I'm in front ensemble, like, like I don't even march, so they don't see me as much. So like, I didn't expect to get further than that, and I didn't, but that's okay. I was very proud at where I made. However, sophomore year, I got a little cocky. I got a little overconfident. That's a good way to put it. And I was like, I made it to the live rounds freshman year. I got this. And I got cut like that. And that was the best thing to ever happen to me. In the moment, I cried about it and I was really sad. And I was even like, God, why would you let this happen? But he had a plan. I just had to have patience and faith.
Yes.
And I auditioned again junior year, and I think that being, like, I don't know, like cut that sophomore year taught me that I can't do it by myself. And so I went around and I asked anybody that was willing to get coffee with me, what are you looking for in a drum major? What do you like about the current drum major? What would you change if you could? And I just got so much feedback from people because they're my band, like I want to know what they want. And I sent videos of my strut to everyone and I was like, rip it apart, tell me what you don't like. I posted on social media, I made it super public. I was like, here's what I'm working on right now. I just kind of just was completely humble about it. I just was like, this is like, I mean, there were videos of me falling on my butt. So, and I don't know, I was just really transparent about the whole process and just the work that I was putting in. And at the end of the day, it paid off. And I was very honored to get the position. So it was great.
Well, I like how you said that you went and talked to people, not only people to help you to perfect all of the things that entails, but just talking to the other band members about what was important to them in a leader and all those things, because sometimes those things are hard to hear, but it's important for you to hear that. And it's really cool that you took that initiative to go and gather that information for yourself. And it obviously paid off in the end.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So you mentioned posting videos of, you practicing the strut and everything. And obviously that's one thing that sticks out to people when they hear drum major, especially for OU, is that drum major coming through the band down the middle and doing that strut all down the field. I cannot imagine how nerve-wracking that is, because it makes me, I feel like I would trip.
I had nightmares about it.
I can imagine. I mean, obviously that's probably something, the timing of it and just everything about it. There's so many things that go into that. So, did you just go on the field and just practice that like by yourself, or like?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So actually, this is a really cool OU tradition. If you go back and watch every single drum major, they all look a little different because no one teaches you how to do it. You figure it out yourself.
Okay, well, it makes sense.
Yep. And so every single drum major kind of has their own spin on it, how they hold the mace, how they, do how their stride length, just because, every person's different. But it's really cool to see, especially at auditions, everyone's kind of touch that they put on it. I watched so many videos and talked to so many people. Like, I think I got how I hold the mace from Kaylee Moss. She was the one before me. And I think I kind of got the crossover from Julie. So, just like I watched a ton of videos. I think a little bit of Rose too, because Rose was there my freshman years. But I took a lot more influence from the three women that came before me, because our center of gravity is a little different than guys' is. So I definitely took a bit more inspiration from theirs. But it's really cool, kind of that tradition of, everyone doing it their way. But the overall preparation of it, I have been super fortunate to have Carter Peak Performance, their strength coaches, and they have helped me out preparing. I train with them in the off season, usually bi-weekly, sometimes weekly. They have come out and watched me and past drum majors do the strut, so they know what muscles I use, what flexibility I need, what, areas of my body are under stress, so that we can prepare those areas of my body so that when I have to do the strut, 4 weeks in a row, my body stays okay.
Right.
So, yeah,
that is something that people don't think about, is the training aspect of it. Of course you have to know music, and of course you need to be a leader, and of course we know the strut, but there's so much that goes into that. If you're not physically ready to do it, it could cause a lot of problems. So that is interesting to point out. And you mentioned about you're the fourth female drum major in OU history, and you have all come consecutively in the program, which is crazy. Almost. Oh, was there someone in between there? Okay.
Yes, Isaac was in between. But yes, it's been very
okay. Yeah, and so within the last decade, or a little less than decade, has been all of the women. So that's crazy that it went that long before having a female, and now here we come.
I know. Well, it's funny. Me and my family, back when I was like, just started marching band in middle school, they'd joke because we have season tickets. So I was at so many games. I have so many selfies from up in the stands.
I love it.
The joke was always, you're going to be the first female drum major. That was always the joke. And so when Julie got it, at first it was funny because they were like, she beat you to it. But honestly, she did amazing in the role, and I have a huge honor of being the first SEC drum major. So in a way, it's still happening.
True. Yes, that is so true.
So.
Well, I think that's really cool. Like I said, I don't remember all of the drum majors' names, but all of the ones that you've mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that name. And so it's funny to think, over my lifetime even, that all of those drum majors were men until the last decade-ish. And now that is super cool that you get to be a part of that, and you're the first SEC drum major. So, okay, so you also... It totally is, and I love it. I love it. Okay, so you were talking about a lot of behind the scene type stuff, and unique things that you've done just for being the drum major. So let's talk a little bit about those things.
Yeah, of course. Some behind the scenes stuff that I think is really cool that I don't think a lot of people notice is I've actually had a lot of people be like, wait, you do that twice? I do the strut twice in pregame, which is pretty cool. There's once during Oklahoma when we do the big, hoorah, where everybody goes. And then once we do the interlocking OU, I actually get to do it again, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
so,
yes.
A lot of people don't notice that, which I think is pretty cool that I actually do it twice. So
yes, that is.
So, and then beyond pregame in the stands is actually like a whole nother half of my job, getting to lead the band. And what's really cool is I like to call myself a DJ kind of in the stands because there is a staff member with a headset that sits down with me, and their job is to be in loop with the press box. So
makes sense.
When they're going to do commercial or when they're going to do like a smile cam or something, they don't want us to play. So they would call down from the box and be like, hey, band, we're going to do smile cam. So then we're like, okay, cool, don't play during this timeout. But then, like, let's say maybe the commercials ended early and we still have time left. They're going to cut to the band on the broadcast. And so it's my job, if they're like, Halle, we have 1 minute. I have a list of all of our tunes and how long they are.
Oh my gosh.
So if we have 30 seconds, I need to think, okay, if I'm going to yell this to the band and then I have to count it off, that's going to be about 7 seconds, maybe 10. So then that means I have 20 seconds, but I also need to stop the band. So then maybe I should call something that's like 15 seconds long, or maybe 20 if I know that we're doing slow play action. Like there was one, we had a team here and their offense ran so slow, so we could play really long tunes in between plays. But then like Tennessee was so fast. Like I think it was Tennessee, it might have been Alabama. They kind of blur. But there definitely were some big games where it's super fast play action where we only have like 7 seconds to like play boomer and then be quiet.
Right.
So there's just, it's a lot of paying attention to how much time is left in the game clock, how much time is left in the play clock. Does the center have the ball? Is the center set to snap the ball? You know, how long is it going to take for the band to, like, if I yell, we're going to play Crazy Train, you know, and then the whole band has to go Crazy Train and get their instruments up and ready to go. And then I got to go 1, 2, ready. And so just kind of, it's that behind the scenes that I think is really cool that not a lot of people even know that happens, but I'm picking the tunes, which is sometimes kind of intimidating.
Imagine so.
I call it behind the Sooner magic.
Well, that is exactly what it is. The rest of us could not even begin to fathom all of the things that it takes to do all of that. So that is all very interesting. Okay, so really cool. What is the loudest game that you can recall that you've been to? Either if you want to pick one that's in Norman, and then the loudest away game that you've been to.
So the loudest away game I've been to actually is scientifically proven as the loudest game, so I can definitely attest to that.
Okay.
There's a video from OU Texas in 2021 when we had the largest comeback. And we were playing a tune called Immigrant. It's a drum cadence, and it's the oh, you go, go, go. And we got the whole OU side doing that in the fourth quarter. And there's a video of it, and there's a decibel meter picture of it. And it is, I was down there with the front ensemble jumping up and down screaming during that.
Oh, wow.
That has got to be the loudest game I've been at. It was awesome.
Makes sense. I remember that game, and I remember that comeback. Here's hoping we have another great game. I mean, I would prefer not to have a comeback, but here's hoping we have another great game and win like that.
Well, I think there's a pattern, because 21, we had a great game. 22,
we
don't talk about. 23, we had a great game. 24, it's okay. 25, listen, there's a pattern. It's this year. We got it.
It's time. It is time for us to have our moment.
In an OU Texas environment, it's actually really funny. So we start on the Texas side for our pregame show.
Yes.
And so it's honestly one of the coolest things. Everybody talks about it. Like, we tell all the freshmen, but you really can't do it justice until you're on the field, is going from the boos to the cheers. Because I start running for the strut on the boos side. And then, like, crossing that, like, I will never forget looking down at that logo before going back and seeing the band behind me and just hearing it go from boos to cheers. It was one of my favorite struts I've done. It was so cool.
I love that.
To just
Sammi
hear the
talked
boos
about that
fade.
also. Yes.
I hear the boos fade into Oklahoma. It's just, it's amazing.
Yes. I can only imagine being down on that field and how loud it is. And like you said, like the boos are deafening, I'm sure. And like I said, Sammi talked about that also, and how last year she was just like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. But yeah, oh my gosh, just going down the field and you're like, okay, I'm on the good side now.
Yes. She is so brave to have done that her freshman year, like to be in that soloist position in such a crazy environment. I could not have.
I know. I don't know that I could either, because it's very humbling and a little terrifying. So I cannot imagine doing that like she did. Yeah.
I think one thing that helps is like having both of us there together. Even that first game, I'll send you this picture. There's a picture of us standing on the sideline. You can kind of like tell we're smiling, but we're also like kind of nervous. Like it's like, oh my gosh, this is about to happen. There's 83,000 Sooner fans in here ready for us to do our thing. Like, it's the first. Like it's the first go, and like I mean, I had nightmares about tripping and becoming a meme. So, like this, like you know, the unfortunate roughneck event schooner. We don't want to recount that, but I did not want anything similar to that to happen.
No,
so I'm very glad it hasn't, but I'm definitely still, you know, a little nervous. But no. Yes. So even when like we had some tough away games this past season, and like you just got to keep believing in the Sooners, even when you know logistically we probably won't be able to score 2 or 3 touchdowns in the time left. Like we're still gonna smile and push through it, just because that's our job.
You have to, and we always have to believe in that Sooner magic.
So, and I do. If there's any game that proved that to never give up, it is that Alabama game. So
yes, and I also think about Jalen Hurts was our quarterback, and we played at Baylor. I want to say 18ish. That game also was another big comeback for us. Baylor was ranked. They were really good that season, and we were playing down there, and they were whooping up on us pretty good. And then it was just like, oh, wait, here we come. And yeah, I always think that's one that I think about as well. Like you just never know.
Special game to be a part of. Like I will never forget.
Totally was.
Because me and so there's a really cool, I guess, kind of dynamic that happens between the drum major and the person called the center snare. They are the person that in the drum line, they're kind of the leader. And so their job is when I give visual tempo, so like 1, 2, ready, they tap the snare drum. So there's a auditory tempo center before we start every tune. And so like you'll hear it at halftime, you'll hear the whistles that I blow, and then they'll do the taps. You'll hear in the stands when I call any tune, you'll hear the taps. It's just kind of like a 1, 2, ready, go. But there's a teamwork that happens there. And so last year, one of my really good friends, Preston Smith, was my center snare for the year. And I remember every game when we'd have to be like, all right, here we go. And after that first touchdown on Alabama, I remember turning around and looking at him and being like, what in the world is happening?
I know.
And it was just so fun to like, I don't know, we kept each other sane throughout all the games, but I will never forget after that first touchdown, turning around and pointing at him for Boomer. It was just, oh my gosh, what a fun game.
I can only imagine. Well, here's to many more games like that this season for sure. Yeah. Nothing brings me greater joy than all the things about an OU game day. And I love a night game. Night games are my favorite.
We love the night games because it's cooler for us. So in those hot uniforms.
I bet so.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think the hot weather uniforms have been a huge blessing. I wish we could make a drum major hot weather uniform, but unfortunately, there's only one. So I just get to be a tough cookie.
You sure do. Oh my goodness, because it's so much hotter down there than it is outside the stadium. So
yes, but we are so fortunate to also have OU nursing staff that is now with us, and so that has been so reassuring to have, because when you got the boots, the pants, the jacket, and the hat. Like, there's not, I think the only skin that's, and the gloves, the only skin that's really showing for me is my face. So,
my gosh.
For at least pregame. Once I get off the field, I can at least take the hat off. So, but
so true.
It definitely gets pretty hot. So I have like a whole team that is basically in charge of keeping me okay. So the pride definitely
can
takes care of
imagine.
me, and it is.
Well, there's so much to consider. I mean, you got to stay hydrated, but also you don't have time to go to the bathroom, I'm sure.
It's actually really funny. I've been asked that before, is when do you go to the bathroom during the games? I get one potty break after Heisman Row concert before pregame.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Wow.
But the good news is that usually you're drinking enough water and your body's using that water, so you don't really need to.
Yes, that is so true. We're sweating it out.
Sometimes I can find a little bit of time after halftime, but there's some super insider for you guys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm the crazy lady who gets there when the gates open. I am very thankful to be in the shade, but I do like to get there pretty close to when the gates open because I like to see all the warm up and who's doing what and all the things. Yeah. And now once I get in there, I will go to the bathroom like right before pregame, but I don't like to leave my seat, period, because I don't like to miss halftime. Plus everybody else is out there and I do not want to miss a down of the game. So my bladder's battling with you.
That's awesome.
I guess if we want to call it that, because that's almost embarrassing to admit because I have no reason not to go to the bathroom and you literally cannot. But I will think of you now as I'm sitting up there not going to the bathroom.
I will mention this because I think it's cool. So this is a little bit of a story that I think is really cool. So if you go back and look at pictures and video and stuff, Julie Seibert's wore a white visor. And I thought it was so cool.
Okay.
And then after Julie wore a white visor, Rose wore a white visor. And then Kaylee wore one. And so I was like, I've got to wear one. And they actually, all three pitched in and got me my visor. It's super cool because it actually has a 70 on the inside for me being the 70th drum major.
I love that.
Julie's has 65 on the inside of hers. And everybody has the number on the inside of theirs. And it's really cool. But I guess if I'm telling the story right, I think I am, is that Julie's dad got her visor because of Bob Stoops.
Okay.
Because Stoops would always wear a white visor.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was amazing. So then Rose was Julie's little in one of our Greek service organizations, Kappa Kappa Psi. And so when Rose got it, Julie got her visor. And then now it just kind of became. So then Julie and Rose got Kaylee hers, and then the three of them got me mine, which is so cool. And so then hopefully whoever the next woman, whoever gets the role, all four of us will pitch in and get her hers.
Oh, that is the coolest thing. I love that so much. I like the origination story of Bob Stoops and the visor because, I mean, his statue, he's wearing a visor, so he's very much known but for that. So I love that so much. That's really cool.
So, and some people have asked me if it's for Patty Gasso, and I think that it's just, I think white visors are just championship like attire.
That's what I was going to say. I think just the queen of softball and the current king of football, it just makes sense that, and the queen of the band.
I only watch it when we lose, so hopefully it will be pretty dirty by the time we make it to the championship.
I love that you said that. I have so many game day traditions superstitions, I guess you could say. So I do hope you have a dirty visor, a very dirty one by the end of the season, because that would be incredible. So
yes. Hopefully we'll have lots of wins on it. So
I hope so. Oh my goodness.
Other cool thing, the baton that I use, the mace, is actually passed down through drum majors, and the one we have currently, I'm not entirely certain how old it is, but in the top there actually is a bit of a time capsule, which I think is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
The past drum majors have added something inside. I can't tell you what, but there's a bunch in there, and when I pass it on, I'll get to add something in there too. And I think that's
I
pretty
love
cool
that.
because,
That is so cool.
I am one of 70 people that have gotten to uphold this tradition, and I think it is so cool getting to kind of carry them with me down the field.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just a really cool thing. Sorry, other drum majors, if that was a super secret. I won't disclose what's in there, but I think it is really, really cool that that is something that we do.
I think that's a cool tidbit to appreciate. Yeah, that's really neat. And so you'll get to put something in there and pass it down when your time is done. So that's really neat. And I like you said, you're carrying a piece of all of those people with you because it's a pretty elite club. I mean, there's 70 of you. And that is really incredible. And I love that. I love all the little things like that. It's really cool.
So, yeah, it's been really great. And even I think one of the coolest things about the audition process is that the drum major isn't picked by the staff. The drum major is picked by the band.
Yes, that's really neat.
So
that
it is
really neat.
You do the audition, you do the strut, you do the conducting in front of all 320 to 40 people, and they vote. And whoever they pick is that person. And I think that's just a really, I'm really honored that they would pick me not once but twice. That they trust me to do this and that they thought I was the best person for the job. And I think that I appreciate that, and I try to, keep that in mind in all that I do, that what I'm doing is, for the band and for these people. Like when it's, super hot, and I would much rather be, kind of in like it's hot, I don't want to do this mood, but I know that that's going to bring down everyone else's mood. And so instead I'm like, hey, it's okay, we're all hot and sweaty together, we got this. So, like at the end of the day, like we're all, in this together. And even though my uniform looks a little bit different than everybody else's, like it doesn't separate me from all of them. Like they're everything I do is for them. I'm so proud of them. They sound amazing this year. I cannot wait for you to hear Band 121.
I'm so excited. Goodness.
So I guess once this drops, you'll already have heard them, but they're pretty great this year.
Yes. Well, you have such a great outlook on your position and being a servant, being a good leader. And I think that that's incredible. And I think that it says a lot about you. I'll toot your horn a little bit, even though I don't know you very well, but what I can tell of you so far, but it means a lot and says a lot about you that you were named drum major a second time, because you've done it once and they clearly were impressed and loved how you led them, and they wanted you to do it again. And that's super cool. Kudos for that.
Thank you. So, and I also just want to say thank you for inviting me on. I love getting to do this kind of stuff. I think the Norman community is one of the most unique I've ever seen with how much they love our band, especially.
Oh, yes, yes.
Have gotten to meet so many. I think that's honestly one of my favorite things about the position is the amount of people I've gotten to connect with. Like little kids that show up to rehearsal, and I'll let them hold the mace or try on the big hat. And it's
that
just
means so much to them.
Cool. I've even had Norman people that I like last year. I took senior pictures in the uniform because I didn't know if that was going to be my last go. And I was just on campus in the uniform, and I met so many people that were just walking their dogs or visiting town, and I let them talk. Like they told me how much they've been to so many games and have seen the band, or they've never met a drum major before, and I took pictures with them, and like just getting to hear their stories and hear what the band means to them is just so special. And the fact that we've been doing the same thing for 120 years and are going to keep doing the same thing for hopefully 100 more. It's just really, really cool to be a part of that legacy. Like I'm hoping to bring my kids one day to see somebody do the strut and just to be a part of that. I know they did the exhibit in the library last year, and I will never forget walking in and seeing that wall of all of the names of the people that had come before me. And I just broke down in tears. Like, cause it's special to me right now, but I can't even imagine how special it was to each one of those people when they got to be a part of it. And
oh my goodness,
the people that they got to impact and talk to, and it's so cool. It's so cool.
It is. That is really cool. And that's one thing that literally everyone has mentioned to me in some aspect is the impact that you have the opportunity to have with the younger generation. And then you look back and see how Julie Siebert's had that impact on you. And now here you are doing the same thing. And someday your kids, you can take them and then in turn it'll just keep going. But I love hearing all the different partnerships. I've had coaches tell me they have partnerships with elementary schools and the kids will come or the athletes will go to the school or whatever. And those type things mean so much to little kids. And even somebody like me that's like a super fan my whole life, like here we are looking up to a bunch of 18 to 22, 23-year-olds. And it's kind of funny to think about, but you guys represent our school, our alma mater for a lot of us, and the traditions that we've watched our whole lives. And that impact that you have on children and adults is truly a very special thing. So, and you have such a great outlook on it. And I just love that. I love that about you.
It's so fun. I mean, if I had to list all of the gigs that I have done, it's crazy how many people want us to come out. I've done weddings.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I've done funerals. We've done elementary schools. It's great. I think, what else have we done? We've done tons of events on campus just for OU. One time we even got to do a Bob Stoops like party, which was pretty cool.
Oh, yes.
And we got to do a Joe Castiglione party as well, and those were pretty cool. We got to welcome gymnastics back when they did their championship.
Yes.
So it's just like all these. We got to open Love's Field that was my first gig ever. Actually, pretty cool. I got a
cool
from it. So
that's so cool. Yes, I was there that day. I remember that was a neat day.
Yep. I was so scared. It was my very first time conducting the band, and I was so nervous, but it ended up going great.
Don't mess.
That was my biggest fear. I was like, what if I counted off wrong? It went great.
Oh my goodness.
No, but it's just all opportunities have been just so cool. Getting to even do stuff like this. Like I've never been on a podcast before. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So, just like getting to meet people. Like I wouldn't have ever got to meet you without this. So it's so cool.
Yes, it is. Well, I love it.
I'm trying to think of anything else really cool. I can detail for detail recount my first pregame. That is one of the, it is just, I like standing there. Mr. Britt does this thing where he turns around and he goes, "Let's go!" And that's when I feel chills every time. It's so fun. And then
I bet so.
Doing the point, you feel like the coolest person in the world doing that.
Yes.
Like you point across the drum line and you're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And we're going to do
I love that.
We're going to be awesome. So
I love that. Oh my gosh.
It's
There's
just
so many little things.
It's so many. And then honestly, one thing I guess that's like hard that a lot of people don't think about is running through the band. Like you've got to find this little pocket that opens up. I'll even be honest, this year I couldn't find the pocket my first go and I ran right into a trumpet player and I felt so bad.
Oh no.
He's okay. We're good. We're still friends. Like everything's good. I apologize. We're good. I haven't ran into him again, but it's just good. Like you gotta find the pocket. And then you gotta think, I can't see anything besides what's behind me.
Yes.
It's so cool seeing the band upside down, but I don't know where I am. And so I have somebody down at the end yelling 5 or stop or something when I hit the 5-yard line so that I don't run into the cheerleaders.
Okay, that makes sense because that's, again, something I don't always think about. But yeah, you got to know when to stop. So
my very first game, I'll never let him live this down. The person that was supposed to stop me, I don't know if he couldn't get through security or what. Or I don't know. He wasn't there. And so I'm just going. And I'm like, I could have sworn I should be there by now. And so I suddenly hear him, like, I just hear it from a distance, like, stop. And I come up and there's a cheerleader, like, maybe like a couple inches. The cheerleaders are facing away from the field because they've got like girls in the air.
Yes.
And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I almost toppled a tower of cheerleaders. We're good. But if you go back and watch that very first game from 2024, you'll see it. You'll see it happen. It's funny. So, but it's all good. It's a memorable first go. I'll never forget it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I get to walk back out there and stand for the chant. And it's actually, the chant is one of my favorite parts.
That's one of my favorites.
Because where I am on the field, it's right in line with the SEC logo. From the press box on the right side. And my family's season tickets are on that side, up by the press box.
Neat.
And so I actually get to look right up at my family during the chant. And that is so special because I remember singing the chant on my grandpa's shoulders before I even knew what words were. I think I knew the words to the chant before I knew how to speak.
Yep.
There's pictures of little me with my one up, and so it's just like I get emotional every time I'm out there singing it, just looking up at my family. That's just a really special moment for me. Just like I sat up there for so many years and now I'm down here, and that's just I dreamed about being down here.
Yes.
When you have that reality moment of I'm living my dream, it is it's so cool. So
that is really cool. I love that. I cannot fathom what it's like to be able to be on that field and be a part of someone that's making the magic happen and all the things that we grew up loving. And that's just incredible. So I love that for you. You because
so cool.
You grew up with that. So you know how special it is, and now you're living it, and someday you can teach your kids and watch it all over again. So that is super duper cool.
Yeah. And I think one thing that has been so, I guess intimidating is a good word, is that so we changed the pregame show a little bit. Usually we used to put the OU on the, what would that be? The north-south end. And we would push OK, Oklahoma to the north.
Yes.
But now we make the tunnels. So instead we make the OU on the north end and push the OU to the south.
Yes. Okay.
Well,
yes.
That changed me and the Twirlers' position because we used to, lead for fight for OKU. We would lead the band into the end zone for the national anthem, and then we would run through the band to get back to the front.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
For the national anthem. And then that would leave the drum major a gap to get through for the OU. But since we flipped it, the OU didn't flip, just the spot flipped, which means that, so me and Sammi luckily don't have to run through the band anymore because we're on the front side. So for Fight for OKU, we just are chilling in the back for Fight for OKU, which is pretty, it's different, but it still works. And then for the OU, I had to figure out how to navigate the interlocking magic to get inside for the run, for the strut.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
And so what I ended up coming up with is technically now tradition.
Okay.
Which is crazy that I got to figure out, where to go, how to work it. It's definitely been I'm wow, what I'm doing, with the decisions I'm making right now, whether to hold for or to go for, is what everyone after me is going to follow. And that's, I'm honored. I'm a little intimidated.
That's so cool. Yes.
So, but it's been really cool to kind of figure that out because the OU, it's magical how we do it. So we have squads in the band. It's groups of 4. There is a squad leader. They're on the leadership team. And then there's 3 other people. They could be freshmen. They could be returners. They could be people that don't even play the same instrument. Sometimes it's a squad of, half tuba, half baritone, you never know. So, but it divides the band up into groups of 4. And then each squad has their own unique pattern that they do when we start the OU. So one group of 4 will maybe go forward 4 and then do a snake kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe they'll, go forward and then they'll turn 4 and then they'll go forward more 4 and then they'll turn again. Somehow it's magical how it happens. All of those 4s never hit each other. Well, when you do it right. They all walk together to make this OU. And so when you go back and watch it, you'll see, now that you'll see these groups of 4 and it's really fun. You can watch it a million times and watch a different group of 4 each time.
Yes, I will.
So it's fun. It's cool. So now everybody knows if you go to any pregame shows this year, watch a group of 4. It's actually really entertaining to watch a different group of 4 each time.
Yes. Okay. I'm definitely intrigued. I can't wait to see that because it's crazy to think with that many people and groups of 4 doing all these things and it just works out.
Magic.
Like what? So
it's magic. It's definitely the most complicated thing we do in the pregame show, but we rehearse it so much that
I can imagine.
It never fails. So
gosh, okay, I can't. I'm even more excited now.
Yeah. So, and then I gotta shout out real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach was the one that wrote that drill, but we have a new assistant director, Dr. Shannon, who rewrote the brand new the triangles that we do for the tunnel, and he studied all of Coach's drill to make us getting into those triangles look like old Pride of Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so the new stuff that we're doing this year in 2025 is all inspired by that. So, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, neat.
Just that level
that's really cool.
Tradition and all of it. So,
yes. I love
really
that.
fun. So now you have a little insider on the OU.
I love it. There's so many things behind the scenes that we don't always think about that now I'm going to be looking for and watching. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It was really fun trying to figure out like where I could dodge all of the squads.
Yes.
I didn't want, I didn't want to be in the way of a squad, but I didn't want it to be, because when we first were rehearsing it, I was like, I'm going to be fine. It ended up being a trombone, and trombones stick out pretty far. And so I was like, no, it's going to hit my big hat. I can't do that. So, but we found it, and we even found a pocket, and it's actually fun. All last year, when I run out of the OU, I pass by one of my good friends, Roman, and we actually do a high five. He gives me a high five every time. And so it's kind of been, it's our lucky high five. So, and I do a little high five as I run through. It's pretty cool. So
I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it so much.
So,
that's so cool.
Yep. He lifts up his horn and I just go right under and give a little high five. It's awesome.
That's the best. I love hearing all the stories about people doing their thing and just living their best lives. I'm so glad that you shared story time today and all the things because we learned a lot of cool information today.
Cool. I was like, hopefully, I always love, like, even just telling my parents about it. Like, when I was a freshman, Mom, you wouldn't believe this is how we do this. Like, it's just, it's really cool. So
I love it. I love it.